Vocal formants have been studied and documented since the 1950s, but when it comes to mixing vocals, their importance has largely been ignored. So let's fix that. Today we're taking an in-depth look into vocal formants, what they are and how they vary from vowel to vowel, why they have such a significant impact on vocal recordings, and how you can easily control and alter them to elevate your productions. By the end of the video, you'll know how to use formants to increase vocal intelligibility or pronunciation, how to identify otherwise difficult to find resonances, and how to pair formants and modulation to create classic sounds like a vocoder, a talk box, harmony generator, and more. So, welcome to Sage Audio, or if you've been here before, welcome back, and let's get into vocal formants, the most overlooked part of mixing vocals. Each language is unique. However, 10 vowel phonemes show up consistently and are especially prevalent in American English. Now, a phoneme is the smallest unit of sound in speech, and just so nobody gets mad in the comments, the correct way to say it is phonemes, but for some reason I can't stand how that sounds, so I'm going to say phonemes if that's fine. Now, these phonemes are E, like in the word see, I as in sit, E as in bed, A as in cat, A as in father, as in cup, A as in thought, O as in go, as in foot, and U as in boot. Now, going over all of those was probably fun for absolutely nobody, which is why a lot of engineers ignore this topic. However, exchange one of those phonemes for another or manipulate the frequency response in a very specific way, and it doesn't just change the sound, it changes the word, and of course the meaning. For example, here's the word bed, and if I amplify the frequencies associated with A using this vowel bender plugin, it sounds like bad.
Bed. 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 Bed.
Now, each vowel sound has a fundamental and set of overtones referred to as the first and second formants, respectively. As we blend between the various vowels within this matrix, we'll observe how the first and second formants shift, and how they aren't completely correlated or tied together, as we'd see with fundamentals and harmonics. Furthermore, since the frequency of these phonemes depend on the speaker, more specifically the size of the mouth, the length of the vocal cords, and more, knowing what to alter in order to accurately change them takes a lot of research. But now that we know what they are, and we could use this vowel bender to easily identify and affect them, let's take a look at some practical use cases and discuss the why and how of mixing vocals using vocal formants. And first up for that, we'll identify and control problematic resonances. Now, it's easy to say dip X frequency to reduce a nasally tone, but the truth is, it's a lot more complicated than that. Now, some vocalists will sound nasally when they sing a oo sound, some are going to sound nasally when they sing E. It truly depends on how they perform and their habits as a singer. By varying the phoneme, especially by blending between multiple, we can pinpoint which vowel sound causes the majority of a nasally resonance. Then we can reduce these specific frequencies with an EQ or dynamic EQ. The same could be done for a boxy sound or a honk sound. These often unwanted resonances are tied to vocal formants, since they occur during specific vowels. If you identify the vowel, and you can identify formant 1 and formant 2, then with that info, especially with how it's displayed here, you could easily find the frequencies that you need to attenuate. Now, this plugin is designed to amplify vowels, not attenuate, but for the sake of the demonstration and ensuring I'm still affecting the exact frequencies, I'll do the following. I'll duplicate the vocal and use one instance of vowel bender with which I've isolated the correct resonances. I'll set it to 100% and then invert the polarity with a utility plugin. Then I'll blend in the effect with the channel fader. Let's take a listen and notice how identifying the correct nasal resonances by finding the correct vowel and then attenuating those resonances easily removes the majority of the vocal's nasally tone.
Made some friends at the Empire State. Made them promise that they'd come to my wake. Made some friends at the Empire State. Made them promise that they'd come to my wake. Made some friends at the Empire State. Made some friends at the Empire State.
Real quick, if you have a mix that you need reviewed by a new set of ears, or maybe a mix that you need mastered for streaming, CD, or vinyl distribution, reach out to us at sageaudio.com. All you need to do is create a free account, upload your song, select the service that you want, and we'll handle the rest. Okay, back to the video. Next up, let's increase vocal intelligibility. One of the biggest contributors to a buried sounding vocal is high amplitude, low frequency vowels. For example, let's say a singer projects more when they're singing an oo sound than when they're singing a I sound. Or maybe the room's reflections or the mic's response emphasizes those vowels. Now, whatever the cause, the higher amplitude oo vowel will mask the clarifying higher frequencies. Now, many of those higher frequencies, like the ones used to form the I vowel or ah phonemes, or the second formant of E, will become harder to hear. In turn, it'll become increasingly difficult to discern what the vocalist is singing, simply because we can't hear the vowels used to form the words. If we subtly amplify easily masked vowel formants, we reduce masking and improve vocal intelligibility. Now you might be thinking, why not just compress the vocal to create more uniform dynamics instead of trying to manipulate the formants? Now that might help, but it could just as easily make it worse. A lot of vowels' amplitudes occur during tonal aspects of the signal's envelope. So if we compress the peaks and use makeup gain, we'll likely attenuate transients while amplifying the quieter tonal signals that contain the vowel. For example, if a high amplitude peak occurs during a lower frequency vowel, let's say the word boot is sung and the B triggers the compressor, then makeup gain, primarily auto makeup gain, will bring the tonal, in this case the oo phoneme, up in amplitude. Now sorry if that seems a little off topic, but I wanted to share why traditional forms of processing might not work in this instance. So, to target the formant directly, I'll again use this vowel bender plugin and move the cursor to the AE sound. So already we're amplifying the needed formants. Then I'll add some additional modulation. Specifically, I'll introduce 2 envelope followers and link one to the position dial and one to the open dial. An envelope follower measures the input's amplitude, and it can be linked to any parameter to either dynamically increase or decrease its value. In this instance, I've used it to dynamically increase the position and open functions, meaning the filters are shifted to higher pitched vowels whenever the input is higher. Now, I've also added it to the mix amount, and I've tailored the attack and the release and the envelope sensitivity to control the intensity of the change. So whenever a high amplitude masking vowel occurs, this easy to mask formant is amplified to counteract that masking effect. I might have made things a bit too complicated with all these envelope followers, but even a static emphasis on a higher frequency vowel is going to help. So let's take a listen to how this technique affects our vocals' clarity. We'll start with no processing, and then I'll enable an EQ to perform the boosts and dips that we typically use in this instance. But lastly, I'll enable vowel bender, and notice how well our formant boost complements and builds on what we accomplished with the EQ.
Made some friends at the Empire State. Made 'em promise that they'd come to my wake. Made some friends at the Empire State. Made 'em promise that they'd come to my wake. Made some friends at the Empire State. Made 'em promise that they'd come to my wake.
Last up, let's cover getting more creative than formant shifting. Now, formant shifting sounds cool. It's great for accenting certain sections of the vocal, indicating a different character, so to speak, and so on. But it's kind of been done to death, especially if we're talking about a simple increase or decrease in the vocal's overall formant. But if we can affect specific vowels, create modulation between them, link that modulation to the mix amount, pre-filter saturation, mid-side amplitude, and other effects, and then sync all of that to the BPM, that seems like a perfect way to introduce some needed creativity to the effect. So instead of going over every aspect of what I made and what I had modulate what, I've decided just to post this preset as a free download in the video's description if you end up giving this plugin a try. Let's take a listen to the effect and let me know what you think in the comments.
Made some friends at the Empire State. Made 'em promise that they'd come to my wake. Made some friends at the Empire State. Made 'em promise that they'd come to my wake. Made some friends at the Empire State. Made 'em promise that they'd come to my wake.
If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for sticking around. Also, if you have a mix that you need reviewed by a new set of ears, or maybe a mix you need mastered for streaming or CD or vinyl distribution, reach out to us at sageaudio.com. All you have to do is create a free account, you can upload your songs, select the services that you want, and we can handle the rest. The master is uploaded to your account when it's done, and you can request a free revision if you hear something that you'd like changed. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to send us a message from your account. Now, Sage Audio also has 3 plugins that are out so far, which we consistently update and improve. They're highly accurate and nuanced analog emulations that are built using neural amp modeling. I think they're perfect for mastering and bus processing, but if you'd like to give them a try yourself, I left a link in the description. Lastly, we just recently started a new Sage Audio YouTube membership. There's 2 tiers and a lot of different perks, including discounts on our mastering services, priority response to your YouTube comments, and more. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.